I'm your host, Anick Silencieux, and this is Diaspora and Development, where we give voice to people of the diaspora working in international development. My guest today is Anick Silencieux, founder and executive director of Support Black Charities. Support Black Charities is an online directory that connects Black-led, Black-focused, or Black-serving organizations to supporters and allies in the community. Anick is an electronic engineer by trade. Recently, Anick was part of a Canadian delegation to the United Nations to attend the second session of the Permanent Forum of African Descent. Thank you, Anick, for joining us today. You're the first guest for Diaspora and Development. I'm quite excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
With great pleasure. Anick, can you tell us a little bit about your career trajectory? I see that you studied engineering. Can you tell us what led you to this field and then why you created Support Black Charities?
I always start by saying that I am the result of a nonprofit, which bridges the two worlds. I always liked science, and I a little bit went by elimination. I did not like the health side. And I also think that my school was biased because they only showed us engineering, law, health, and I think becoming a teacher. So I decided to go into engineering. And in my last year of university in Montreal, there's an organization in the US called National Society of Black Engineers that was branching out, and they wanted to open a chapter in Canada, and they wanted to do it in two universities, one in Concordia in Montreal and one in Polytechnique, which is the university I went to. So this is how I got connected to them. And for the first year, they invited a few of us to go to one of their conventions in the States, and they are legendary conventions. They have them national, region, locally. And so I went to my very first convention in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it has changed my world. When you come from a school where there's not a lot of women, not a lot of Black women in engineering, and you get to a convention when there's like 5,000 alumni, students, professional in the world of engineering, it definitely, in terms of not being alone, being able to network, learn from people, understand it, that, I can do this, see people that look like me. It's now that I realize the impact that this really had on me. And luckily, the highlight of that convention is a career fair. Okay. And so I went to the career fair, and I was just about to graduate. I was lucky enough. I did a few interviews on the spot, and there's two companies that called me. One was Corning in upstate New York. The other one was Nortel Networks. Mm-hmm. And they were looking for new grads. And so this is how my career started. Mm-hmm. The good thing is they relocated me in the US, in North Carolina. Okay. So that's always why I say that I am the result of a nonprofit. Without National Society of Black Engineers, I wouldn't have started my career as an engineer and being able to do what I do. And so I was in the US for a while, and then I came back to Canada. I found a job in data recovery and computer forensic, which I did for about 15 years. And while I was working as an engineer, I liked it. I liked what I was doing, learning. I'm in technology. I had an opportunity to travel a little bit for training. But I always told myself I would love to do something else. And I did not know why. And in 2008, when you had the recession in the US, my salary was frozen, even though we're in Canada. So I said, I need something else. I don't know what, but I started looking for something else. So in the meantime, I volunteered a lot in different organizations. And because I'm of Haitian descent, whenever there was an organization that was related to Haitians or the Caribbean, I was volunteering. And also growing up, my aunt had a center for women in Montreal, and we were often volunteered without us even knowing. We were like the default volunteer for all the events.
That's kind of prevalent in the Caribbean and Haitian community. We're both Haitian, so I realized that I participated in a lot of protest, a lot of volunteering without even knowing that I was doing volunteering, whether it's through religion or outside of religion. For me, it was outside of religion. It's a very interesting thing, but it's there in the community and we don't realize. It's kind of sneaky. It's a sneak attack.
Very sneaky. I would go to New York for holidays, and all of a sudden, my aunt would be, "We're having a fundraiser, and all of you are there to help to provide meals." We're like, "What? We came here to party, and now
Yes.
we're in a volunteer fundraiser." So it was always around me,
Yes.
and it's always something that I enjoyed. I try to do different roles in different organizations,
Mhm.
and at some point, I said, "You know what? One day I'll have my own. I don't know what yet, but I'll have my own." And so when I was looking for a side hustle, they always said to find something that you're really passionate about because it doesn't feel so much like a job. You have your job, but you have something else. And so it started a little bit like this, where I was like, why didn't I just start a nonprofit? I had ideas. I dabbled a little bit into digital marketing. And so this is some knowledge that I had. And one of the side hustle that I tried was a company that was helping nonprofits do fundraising online. I was the only Black person in the organization. So I told myself, you know what? I'm going to go and bring this tool, this option to Black nonprofits and charities in Canada. And I had a hard time finding them because if they don't have the word Black, Afro, or Canadian or
Mhm.
Caribbean in their name, when you go on Google and you say support Black or what are the Black charities, depending on how their website or SEO is set up, they might not come up. So I had to dig a little bit.
Okay.
And pretty much I had my own database, my own structure. And
Mhm.
then people would come to me and say, Anick, I know you have this database. I'd like to donate to a charity. And I would say, well, what do you like? Where are you? Let's pick something that is related to you. And this is when the idea came that I was like, why don't I just do a structure, an online structure
Okay.
where different people can find Black serving organization by
Mhm.
themselves online. So this is kind of how it started.
A question, Anick.
Mhm.
You started this in Canada. I believe you have organizations that are all around the world. Um,
Right.
One of the things you are Canadian, I am Canadian. We've both lived in the States and we both lived in Canada. Um, I think when I would look for Black organizations in the United States, I might find a list of information. And I think I won't have that same facility in Canada. Even looking for hairstylists, different things when I was younger that I realized that I would look for and I couldn't find that information as easily. Did you find the same thing?
I had a hard time finding organizations in different states and different things. And so that's why I said I'm not the only one. Because I was working in it, my side hustle,
Mhm.
I built a structure for myself in Excel,
Okay.
right? Different countries, different this with job downs and all that. So I said, I know other people, this would be useful for the people, but also I was really inspired by the Support Black businesses,
Mhm.
where there was a lot of directories that were springing up everywhere
Mhm.
about Black businesses. So I said, why not do the same type of thing for Black organizations? And then at first, I wanted to just do Canada, but I said, myself, I'm a diaspora, and I would like to be connected to organizations in Haiti also. So I
Mhm.
said, why not just open it to the world and to also be able to tap into the diaspora. I have friends from the continent, Africa. I have friends from the Caribbean, and it's the same thing for them. If you hear something happening, supporting an organization today, what the average amount is $25. Everybody can do that.
Yes.
So I wanted to be able to provide a structure, and then it grew into something much bigger today. But at first, it was a directory of Black-led, Black-serving, Black-focused organizations. And I just wanted to make it easy for people to find organizations. So if they were to put Youth New York, so all the organizations that are registered on my directory would come up, and then you would go through the different profiles, and you choose which one you want to engage with, support. So we would put on the profile the social impact, the
Mhm.
location, their social links, social media,
Okay.
and their current need. Because I realized that the name of the organization, first of all, I was so surprised that
Mhm.
Support Black Charities was available as a URL.
Ah,
So I really lucked out there. But
yeah.
the name of the organization is also a call to action in itself.
Oh,
So
yeah. I'd like to know a little bit more about the organization's mandate and a little bit about what gap it fills.
Yes. So, in terms of the mission and the mandate, I wanted to make it easy for people to find organizations
Mm-hmm.
that are Black serving. Then I wanted to increase the online visibility of Black serving organizations. And mind you, this was all before everything that happened in 2020. Obviously, 2020 got really busy with
Mm-hmm.
not only COVID, but the attention on racial inequality due to George Floyd. And so when a lot of people said, what's the solution? The solution is Black organization, right? So this is when things kind of exploded for me. But so the mission originally was to increase online visibility
Mm-hmm.
in order to boost charitable giving to these organizations. So I kind of identified the fact that it was hard to find them first. So
Okay.
why not create a structure where they could benefit from the visibility? And on my side, I feature different organizations on a directory. I bring awareness to different culturally issues that are prevalent in the Black community. For example, sickle cell. Sickle cell is one, fibroids is one, different things, different types of cancers and things like that. This is on the health side, but there's other things too. There's mass incarceration and reintegration, entrepreneurship, and things like this. So it became fun, I gotta say, to discover different organizations and to be able to add them to the directory under different categories. And what happened is that, so when I would approach organizations to be added to the directory, they sometimes would say, well, can you help me with my website? Can you help me with governance? Can you
Mm-hmm.
help me with my finances? So
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning, I used to say, no, no, I don't do that. I don't do that. And I said, no, let's give what the people want. If they're asking for this, let's. So I kind of started working for that structure
Mm-hmm.
to be able to now give out different information.
Okay.
And so today we're not just a directory, we are a resource hub
Okay.
and we are a service provider. So
Okay.
if somebody comes to me and says, we need a website, then I have a list of preferred vendors that I work with, and I
Mm-hmm.
can match them depending on which region of the world they are. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're busy building on our side,
Mm-hmm.
is that list of people that can help for different reasons. And today, just this morning, I had a meeting with someone that's doing impact measurement, and they asked me what my why was.
Mm-hmm.
And after 4 years, the organization is about to be 5 years, but I just got real clear of what my why is. And the
Mm-hmm.
why is I want to create generational impact.
Okay.
And to be able to create generational impact, you need to have those organizations that are there for 30, 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
That not the ones that just come on and then after 10 years they're not there anymore. It was important for me to see how can I support organizations in their
Mm-hmm.
foundation and in all aspects of being a nonprofit or charity. So I partnered with, is now added to the organization, a business developer, because I wanted to be able to run my nonprofit as a business. And then we build a business development assessment tool,
Mm-hmm.
which organizations can take to find out, where they are, where they want to go. And
Mm-hmm.
our goal is to really help organization
Mm-hmm.
towards their sustainability and
Okay.
sustainable growth. So that's my why. I want to be able to create generational impact.
Okay.
And for that, I need organizations stay sustainable. When you find those organizations, when you know that the grandparents used to go there, the parents, then the kids, this is how you create stability,
There's,
specifically for the Black ecosystem.
there's
It's
a
not
couple
just,
here. There's a couple here. There's the Urban League that has been around for a long time. There's
yes,
Jill that has been around for a long time. And those
exactly.
are generational organizations. And it's interesting that you say that because it's like we're talking about generational wealth. And then also when we're talking about generational organizations, that's also leading to policies
Mm,
that we can fight for and that are there for many people. Civil rights movement is an example. I'm living in the United States as a woman of color, as a Black woman, and a lot of the things that I benefit from are people who fought for those policies. So I see.
exactly. Yeah. And also, one of the benefits that I'm really understanding, especially this week at the UN,
Mhm.
is the importance of data,
Mhm.
collecting data.
Mhm.
But when organizations are not there for a long time, they don't have that data. So
No.
when you have an organization that's there for 40 years, they have data. right? They have great data. So we need organizations that are there for a long time to be able to understand where our community is going and to learn from it, to be able to understand a little bit more of the future. So this is really it. And you want organization to be sustainable and to understand. So our role is to give practical solutions, to raise awareness, and to educate, train, and just help with the sustainability. So we're not just a director anymore. That's my new line. We're not just a director anymore. We're working towards helping organizations being sustainable, and we're looking for people who want to help us do that through shared resources, strategic partnership. So that's the world I'm in right now. And I know that you asked the question earlier, like, how did I get from engineering to this? So I had an opportunity last year to be able to jump into this, doing this work full time, which I jumped on it. So for me, it was just about understanding how do I become myself sustainable, because it was a side hustle for a long time. Sometimes it was even my main hustle. My engineering job, I can say it today, it suffered a little bit because I was more interested in this.
Something always suffers when you're trying to work on your passion. People always say side hustle, but your side hustle takes over.
Yes, and that's what I say to people. I say the engineering side, I liked it, but this I love. The side of it was a little bit competitive in engineering. I don't know if it's because I'm working more with men, but it's all about numbers and performance and sometimes fudging the numbers to look good and things like this, right? So now it's more social impact. It's stalking, is conversation, is community development, is a little bit of research, and also an added benefit is I'm working with Black people.
Yeah.
Right? Everything I'm doing is, again, this is an added benefit. I know I live in Canada and it's not always possible, but I've really noticed that I said, wow, everybody that I'm working with, the conversations that I'm having are mostly with Black people. And it's interesting because it's always a positive conversation. It's always about building.
Talk to us about why that's important and why that is something that you haven't seen. It's very important. I would like the listeners to understand the importance. Sometimes people think, oh, well, this is a bias. They only want to work with Black people, et cetera. But there is something about being surrounded by people like you that we in the diaspora don't get the benefit of doing, either in our home countries where we're born or in the countries where our parents are from. Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Yes. So first of all, it goes back to the bias that I have as a Canadian of hearing, you don't hear a lot about the good things from the Black community, right? There's a stigma. I have to say it is changing. I'm seeing the change, but it's still there. There's still systemic racism. And that's the stigma that, oh, Black people can do this, Black people can do that. And you know what? It started to bleed a little bit within our own community, when some people from our community are now saying, I can't work with Black people. Black people can't work together. And I'm like, that can't be right. We work together. I'm working with other people. So it was always something that I'm like, I don't understand why people say that. So to be able to work with your own and seeing the good that people are doing and being able to build and grow with them is, first of all, it's just enriching for me, empowering to see working with peers like me, but also I feel like we're also showing other people, listen, it can be done. Look what we're building. Look what we're able to do. So there's kind of it's a personal side that is just refreshing. And there's a lot of conversations you don't need to have. No code switching, right? No,
that's interesting that you say code switching. Growing up in Canada, I don't think I code switched too much. I grew up in an English environment. In Ottawa and in Montreal. A bit. I think a little bit of, if you speak French to your parents and you speak French to your friends, it's a little bit different. But I didn't realize that there was code switching within our own communities.
Right. Just I know with when I, as an engineer, having to explain Caribana, for example, Caribbean Carnival, and it's a small thing, but it's just like I always put it back to the other side and say, what if you were living in Japan and on July 1st, you wouldn't celebrate, you wouldn't wear red? You
Yeah.
know, like,
Yeah.
uh, you would. And then if
Yeah.
there's another Canadian in Japan, you'd
Yeah.
probably get together and have a beer,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
they're like, "Oh, right. Is it? We're doing the same thing. There's just more of us." That's really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, that you have to explain. But for me, it's about breaking down those barriers,
Mm-hmm.
and not only that, it's being able to show the younger generation
Mm-hmm.
that it's possible. That look what we're doing. And I'm telling you, in the UN right now, being in the meetings and seeing, I think the biggest takeaway. And we were talking before this that I'm currently in New York, attending sessions for people of African descent with the UN, and it's impressive to
Mm-hmm.
see who is doing what where.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, oh, I'm doing a good thing on my. No, these people are doing amazing over there. I want to talk to them, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody's Black, right? So it's
Yeah, but
empowering.
yeah, you are doing a good thing, and it's good when you're doing that good thing to see other people as well. It's to see other people,
Yes,
and it's
yes,
good
yes.
to hear people saying, "I'm doing a good thing." That's another thing. Um,
Hmm.
Women of color and women in general, our modesty is high, perhaps too high at times, and it's good to hear, "I'm doing a good thing," and I'm seeing other people do good things. This is quite positive.
Yes, yes. I am so encouraged by
Mm-hmm.
the work that people are doing all over the world. um, Absolutely encouraged. And so that's why I think for me it was really important. And to go beyond that, I didn't really leave my engineering side completely.
Yeah.
I'm still taking classes. I'm taking classes on cybersecurity right now and data
Mm-hmm.
analytics. And I was fortunate to find programs
Mm-hmm.
that were given by Black women
Mm-hmm.
within the Black community because I'm in the world of nonprofits. So there's a lot of nonprofits that are putting together programs to help representation in different sectors.
Okay.
So obviously with the STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, there's a lot of push for the Black youth to get into those fields.
Mm-hmm.
And so as I'm doing my researching, my prospecting, I come across an organization that is doing this, but they want to increase the representation of Black cybersecurity specialists
Mm-hmm.
in the field. So they have intensive programs,
Okay.
and it's actually it's mostly Nigerians that are there, but I infiltrate the group. There's a couple of Caribbean in there, but that's just it. Again, I'm surrounded by Black. My teachers are Black. Their peers are Black. And there's another class that I put myself as well too, and for data analytics, the representation of women, and it's the same thing. It's Black women with 25 Black women in different sectors, different fields that are just looking to break into the data analytics. For me, it serves me
Yeah.
on the engineering side in case I want to go back,
Yeah.
but it also served me in the work that I'm doing with nonprofits because nonprofits are online. They need to be secure. So I'm learning how to do cybersecurity to be able to help all
Yeah.
the nonprofits that are online. We were hacked once, so I know it can happen,
Okay.
and we're just now creating programs to be able to help others. So representation is crucial, and when you're in it, it's fun to be in it. So I see my whole world is Black now, which is great. It's great to be in, and you empower each other, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Wonderful. Anick, can you walk us through how an organization can be supported by Support Black Charities? Diaspora and Development is a podcast, but imagine Diaspora and Development says, now we want to open our own little organization. What I want is to be working in international development. How would you be able to help an organization that approaches you? Walk us through the services.
Yes, the benefits first is the increased visibility. So I said also earlier is that we do have a vetting process. The
Mhm.
vetting process protects us and you and
Mhm.
helps raise the bar,
Mhm.
right? There are, based on the research that I've done,
Mhm.
there's certain standards. There's a standard for
Mhm.
charitable organization. If you
Mhm.
want people to donate to you, that's a science too.
Well,
There's
we'll
certain
get
things
to
you
your
need to have.
standards. We'll get to your elements in a minute.
Mhm.
Suppose that I meet those elements.
So you're added to the directory. Right away, your visibility is increased. What we do is we feature different organizations or different categories. So we will mention your organization on social media, or we'll do a feature on your organization specifically based on the plan that you register with. We'll talk about you on a newsletter. And the other thing is on specific times, Black History Month. There's Black Philanthropy Month too in August, Giving Tuesdays and Thanksgiving. So we always promote the directory. The other added benefit is that something that was happening organically, and now we're actually doing something purposely, is that because we have a database of different Black serving organizations, I should say we have right now about 130 and in 20 countries.
Wow.
So because we have that, we have a lot of companies that come to us and they say, listen, we'd like to do something for the Black community, a contest, a grant, or we'd like to donate something. Can you help us? Can you match us up with an organization? So that's something I never thought about.
Mm-hmm.
But it has happened a lot to the point that now we have a structure for it.
Okay.
So companies like Weight Watchers,
Mm-hmm.
Weight Watchers reached out. They said, we are creating a grant for organizations that are battling food insecurity within the Black community.
Mm-hmm.
Can you help us nominate 4 or 5 organizations? I said, yes, I have some on my directory, but they were saying in the US.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I can give you those organizations, nominate them, and so on. And I said, you're a worldwide company. Why don't you have the same thing for Canada, for Brazil, for the UK? And so they got back to me 2 months later and they created one for Canada. And so I was able to now nominate some organizations in Canada, and 2 of them did receive grants. One 18,000 and the other one, I can't remember on top of my head.
18,000 for a nonprofit organization?
I'll take that anytime. The thing is, I can only refer or match organizations that are listed on the directory.
Okay.
So that's a benefit, right? Yeah. Because we go through a vetting process, and after that, we stay kind of updated with what you're doing. Okay. And I also have a meeting with all the organization, the founder or the executive team, because I want to have that one-on-one, right? As much as I can. Right now, I'm doing them. As we grow, we'll see how it goes. But for now, I'm able to have that one-on-one. So that is one added benefit. There's been many like this, and the organizations, when they come, they ask for things specific. So one in Montreal, they wanted to remain anonymous, which was strange to me. Yes. But they wanted to give 2 86-inch smart TVs, and they were willing to deliver. But it had to be to an organization that was established, that had a building, and they were doing training for youth. So went through my database and I found 2 organizations, spoke to them, and one had because it's 86-inch TV, so one had the space for it, and we're able to make that connection. So that's one of the benefits. During Black History Month, a lot of companies will say we'd like to feature or do a fundraiser for an organization. Can you match us up with one? So we look through based on exactly what they're looking for, we can make matches like this. So that's something that was happening all the time. Because of the power in the numbers, we have a varied number of organizations vetted. And so now what's happening is that we're able to share resources. So we have an event, a list of preferred vendor that we have curated, for example, event management. So if an organization, and this one is worldwide, so if an organization wanted to have a fundraising event, then what would happen is that we can match them up with that organization for a very, very, very low price, discounted price, just because we have this understanding with the companies. We know we're called Support Black Charities. So we need to support. And one of the ways is by sponsoring events. And we're a little bit strategic with the impact of our sponsorship. But this year, we have been able to sponsor 2 events. One in Ghana, it was for Africa Day, and that was in collaboration with the African Union. And we're able to sponsor an event there, which was very interesting. And then we have another event that we're sponsoring at the end of July in Toronto. So this is something that as we grow and we have the capacity for, we'll be able to do a lot more. So sometimes organizations are looking to put an event, but they need sponsors. We're able to do that, or we're able to go and find a company that want to associate themselves with us, and being able to say, well, this organization is looking for sponsorship. Maybe you can sponsor them. So this is some of the support. Then we're actually at the end of the year, we are creating an SBC Academy.
Okay.
which will be a learning tool where on different subjects for nonprofit, from content creation to governance to finance to community development. And we're going to be bringing different experts to actually lead the classes. Some of the stuff we can do, but others I think have the expertise, and we want to be able to give them a platform to say there are organizations that are looking for that type of training and to be able to deliver it through the SBC Academy. In the works right now. The biggest one that's happening is for Black Philanthropy Month, which is in August.
Mhm.
We are getting ready to create a global Black philanthropy initiative
Okay.
where we are going to use the UN's SDG goals,
Mhm.
the Sustainable Development Goals,
Mhm.
and kind of create a big fundraising, a global fundraising where every organization that are currently listed on our directory will have an opportunity to receive funds. And we are doing the promoting for them.
I'd like to know who's behind SBC. You say we. How does it work? Do you have a team? Do you have people supporting? Do you outsource? Tell us a little bit about SBC, and then we'll get into the 7 elements.
Yes, so SBC is in a growing phase right now. Like this morning, we actually onboarded a grant writer. So it's me. I'm the founder. I have a board of 2 people that started with me with the organization, and after that, at some point, obviously, I said that I needed help, but I also needed the expertise. And so through conversation, there's 3 people that I set out to speak to find out how do I get to the next level. And one of those person that I was speaking with, he just said, "Why don't I just work with you? I love what you're doing. Can I be part of the organization?" So he's a business developer and he had a lot of ideas. And he also has charitable organizations that are listed on a directory. So he understands what I'm doing. So he's been a very big part of the organization to be able to navigate those partnerships, the lingo. So so that's 4. And then we have 4 volunteers,
Mhm.
2 that I'm speaking to on Monday to continue some of the work that they're doing. And as we're capacity building, there's certain things that we can hire for, and certain things that we need volunteer as we're still capacity building. So we're growing. This year has been amazing in terms of the interest that people have to want to be able to contribute in terms of the volunteering, but we're also adding some portions like inside grant writing, which is really important to continue building and capacity building, developing our organization through funding. And also, we also want to provide grant writing to the organization listed on our directory. And so everything that we do for us, we basically do it for the organizations because we are also a nonprofit. So that's the thing. So I would say right now, 6 staff and 4 volunteers.
Okay.
And the staff is most of it is part-time.
Okay.
So that's basically who is behind the organization. If you had asked me a year ago if I'd be running an enterprise, because this is really what it is, I would have believed it. But here I am today, amazing people, got a lot of help, and I'm a person who keeps learning. So it's just about getting the right people that understand where we are now, where we're going, and are able to understand that journey.
I'm amazed that you're doing it with 6 people. And if I had asked you a year ago, I figured since you've been around for 5 years, you've been doing this for a while. So if you had asked me a year ago and you had said you were smaller than 6, I'd be surprised. So it's quite amazing that you're doing this with 6 people.
Yes, and the 6 is just like within the last 2 months.
Wow. Wow.
Before there was 4 of us. Before there was 2 staff and 2 volunteers, and now we add by necessity.
Mhm.
If we want to do what we want to do, it's about being strategic in how we grow. So that's the importance of having business development, even for a nonprofit. We don't think about it, but there's a way, there's a structure to growing, and that's why we wanted to create the business development assessment for nonprofit. We want to be able to, the same way we're growing, we want to be able to apply this or make it available for others as well. Yes.
So what are the 7 elements that SBC uses to see if organizations meet these requirements? I understand if the organizations that want to be part of SBC's list or database meet 3 out of those 7 elements, they are selected. Can you tell us a little bit about these elements, how they were chosen?
Yes, and that started with when I did work in that company that was doing some fundraising online for organizations. So as I was prospecting, you prospect to find an organization, and you find out that sometimes you can offer a service to an organization, but they're not ready. They don't have the capacity to be able to deliver it. So it was about understanding the organizations that do have the capacity, that are doing well, have been established for a long time. They have a great engagement. What do they have in common? Right? So what they have in common is a great website, a clear mission and statement, track record, donor management. So these are the things that I've learned over the years. And I also took a little bit of classes to understand that. So I said, if I'm going to have people join a directory, there has to be a standard. There has to be a minimum that they have, because the organization is a call to action, support Black charities. When somebody goes on a directory and they find an organization, I want them to not have to worry about, where is my money going? Is this organization active? So those questions have been answered through the vetting process.
Okay.
So the first one is obvious. It's you have to be Black led or Black serving or Black focus. And if, let's say, you're Black serving but you're not Black led, what I look for is the leadership team, the decision making team has to be 50% Black or BIPOC. This is for me a start of the conversation. I've had a lot of organizations that are operating in Haiti or operating in Africa that are not Black led. And for me, it's a conversation to say, listen, Black is in the name of the organization. There's no way around it. Somebody's got to be Black. So sometimes it's good conversation. Sometimes it's a little heated, but most of the time people understand. I mean, this is the name of the organization, and I get to choose who gets in it. So it's also a way for me to let people know that if you're going to serve a Black population, you need to have Black people in the leadership, in the decision making. And if you don't, you need to start empowering the local people to be able to do the work. The ripple effect of empowering somebody local is enormous. So these are the conversations that I have when people come to me and they don't have that. So that's number one. Number two is having a website and social media. We can't get away with it right now. The website is because I see the website as a storefront and social media as like the weekly flyer. So you need to have a place where you can have your mission, your programs, all of this is there and people can look at them and know when to register, where to register.
A lot of organizations are going towards having social media presence and not website.
Right. So I've seen that, but they'll quick find out that, for example, to get funding, you need a website. I've been asked on by 2 foundations to help them assess some grants. And so you have to do research on the website. And if it's only on social media, it's really hard to go through all of that information to find out. So a website, social media is really important. So Evan, you need to be active on social media, and on your website needs to be updated, because sometimes you see things and you're like, I don't know if this was done 10 years ago, if this was done 2 years ago. You can't tell. So a quick way to find that out is to look for dates, right? When you talk about your governance, how long have they been on the board? Do you see a date, 22, 23, or 20? If you see 2018, it's not updated. So that's the second one. The third one is to have a clear mission statement and vision. I see in the Black community, a lot of organizations will say as their mission, we want to empower youth. I think it's too vague. Using the word empower is too vague. So I always say, with what? With sports, with music, with acting, with arts, with entrepreneurship, with one-on-one, with group. So it needs to be very specific to be able to attract the correct person that will benefit from your service. So that's what I look for. The vision as well. Where do you see yourself? What's the end goal? What would you like to see at the end? Then that's the third one. The fourth one is we need to see a way of you communicating with your supporters, either through a newsletter, That's important today. You need to let people know what you're doing, what you're up to. Um, it sometimes is done through social media, but either a blog or a newsletter. That's what I look for. There needs to be a way for people to know what you're up to and how your program's moving along. I believe is impact. Your impact needs to be visible, measurable, and trackable over time. You need to let people know this is what we've done. For example, we've helped 100 women in 3 of our programs in 2022. And then over time is that in 2023, now you need to compare the same numbers. It just shows a little bit level of preparedness and planning when you keep track of your numbers. Because at the end of the day, your role is to be able to make an impact. And you need to be able to track your impact. And on the other side is that it helps impact investors. A lot of impact investors, when they look to invest, if they don't see your impact, they don't know where the money's going.
Can you tell
To
us
explain
more about what an impact investor is?
Yeah, so the impact investor is traditionally an investment firm that is looking to invest, but where the ROI is not measured in money.
Okay.
The ROI is measured in a social impact, what they call it social. There's a term for it, and this is where you need to have an impact visible, measurable, and trackable for those investors to be able to understand what is the effect of their money, how will it be spent. So there's been a big push over the recent years with investment firms to have maybe 5% of their portfolio dedicated to impact investment. So right now you'll see it a lot more in terms of climate change. It's starting to trickle down to some of the community organizations, but it's you'll see a lot more in climate change with impact investments that way. But it's something that I want to be able to help organizations be investment ready. So when you're investment ready, those investors can come in and they see clearly what you've done in the past and where you're going, and they'll be able to invest with you. So I think that was number 6. Number 7 is a donor management system.
Okay.
It's important for today. The way it is today, you have to have an online way of receiving donations. The ways of send me a check at this address, at this bank, deposit, and you give the account. It's not a standard that's really used today. It's got to be quick. It's got to be, I click here, I put my email password, I give my money, and that's it. This is the millennials that are leading the way with having things done really, really quick. So if you don't ask them to go and get a check and go to the post office to mail it, it's not gonna happen. Now, you still need to have that on your website because the older generations will. I still get checks. I'm surprised, but I get checks by the mail. It's important to have different options to be able to give to you. So obviously the checks are online, and even online could be different. You could do Stripe, you could do PayPal, you could do Amazon Pay, you could do Apple Pay. The more, the better for people to see that it's easy for them to be able to give to you. And a donor management system usually has a way to track who gives to you. And so the best practice is once you receive donation from someone, you need to be able to send a thank you letter, right? You need to be able to keep track of who gave you when and how much and for what. So this is where the importance of a donor management system comes in play. You want to understand, do you have more people that give in December or more people give to you in August? Do you have more people from a certain part of the world that gives to you? All this information can help you create content that will help you attract more funding, essentially. So I think I went through the 7 requirements there. Yes. So we asked for minimum 3 because not everybody has all of them. But if you have at least 3, you're on the right track.
So if we come with 3, let's say Diaspora and Development has a website, which it doesn't, but it has retained the website. It has a mandate, and let's say it's getting donors. Do you help these organizations get to those 7 elements, or is that
Yes.
effective?
Yes, through the business assessment, the business development assessment tool, we help organizations get to the next level with having those 7 requirements. That is one of the ways that we can measure our impact, right? How many organizations are listed that did not have the requirements that now have those requirements. So this is one of the ways that we are measuring our impact and how we're helping, how we're bringing people to a different level of sustainability. So definitely, yes.
And so what's SBC's greatest achievement or a success story that stands out for you?
I one of the success stories I gotta say is being invited to the UN. So people see that what I'm doing matters, and they also see that I have a global mandate. So that was definitely a big plus for me because I've been able to really network. For example, Brazil, right? Brazil is really well represented at the UN this week, and this is a country that I don't have any organization in. And this is a country that's on my list, but I was limited by the language. And so now, understanding that Brazil, Latin America also has a large Black population. Australia, I've been able to see this, but accomplishments for me, what I like is when I hear people that are making connections. For example, when companies come to me and say, we want to fulfill our mandate of corporate social responsibility. Can you help us? This is why we're there. We want to make those connections and we want to boost organizations charitable giving. So when a company comes to us, and there's like, again, Weight Watchers is a great one because they actually created a grant for Canada, something that they didn't think about. So for me, that's definitely, it's through conversation that this happened. And they saw that we had organizations in Canada and they were like, that makes sense. I think we should. We look bad if we don't. So let's do it. So this is kind of the influence that we're starting to have. And when people come to us and say, can you help us select these organizations for a fund? Because they see that, I mean, this is my world. I look at organizations all day long. I look at what they do, I follow what they are. So I do have a good knowledge about, especially in Canada, but I'm starting to be better in the rest of the world. So when people do see value in what we do and they want to partner with us, that's a plus because we're able to broaden our brand and share resources and add value to the organizations that are already listed on a directory. So all of this, when people tell me that they've used the directory to find an organization, that's the goal. You know, it's a small accomplishment, but those stories go a long way for me.
And what is your advice for people who are starting out with their own organizations or charities?
So I would say have a specific mission. Don't be specific because it's easier to grow something that is specific than being broad because you don't know which direction you're going. And one of the advice, and this is a very tangible advice that I see when people come to me and say, for example, I'm giving you a real life example. There's a man that's an artist and he would like to help teach children how to draw, to for them to express their artistic side. And he says, I want to start a nonprofit. Can you help me? I told him the first thing you want to do is you want to test out your idea. So you want to create a workshop, create a program, and then take your program, shop it around to different organizations, right? So an organization already has the kids, and organizations are always looking for programs, for new programs. So create one workshop, and in that workshop, shop it around to different organizations, test it out. See, okay, the kids are really engaged, or maybe I need more handouts. Maybe I need to have smaller classes. Maybe I need to have it in a bigger room. So you get to really create your program, and you can still have the same impact. You want to impact, you want to develop and engage children, you can do it through a workshop. So try it out first, shop it around, own it, develop it, and then after just a workshop, create a program. So 4-week program, same thing, shop it around to different organizations. And today the beauty of it is you could do it online. There
Mm.
is a lot of things that you could do online, so you're not just limited to where you are. I shared with you earlier the programs that I'm in. Everything is online. So this is my advice with people. Don't jump into wanting to do a nonprofit right away. The bottom line is you want to have an impact and you want to share your gift. You want to share your expertise. And you can still do that without having the worry of starting your nonprofit. Now, as you become bigger and you have a little following and you have a bigger demand, then you can look into, okay, let me start something because now I can be sustainable. But before that, create a workshop, a one-time workshop. And if that works well, create a 4-week program, shop it around. That works well, continue building on this, create partnerships with different organizations. So then you have a program in this organization, another one in this, another one in that. And at the end of the day, you're still sharing your gift. You're still having an impact. And you don't have to worry about the overhead. You don't have to worry about the location. The audience is pretty much comes with your partnership with that organization. So that's the first thing I would say is to test it out first, because you don't want to start registering your name, having a website, and you haven't tested it.
Yeah.
You need to test it, and there's ways to do that. And we can help you. You can find on our directory another organization that does similar things. Speak to them and say, I'd like to create a program for you. Make it free first, and then maybe when it becomes a little bit valuable, you can monetize it. Because not everything is free from nonprofits. People think that nonprofits can't make a profit. They can make a profit. It's just reinvested
Into there.
into the impact of the organization, right? The CEO is not going to become rich and have signing bonus. That's the difference.
Yeah.
But that's really my advice, just to start. Create a workshop, 2-hour workshop. Start with that, and then shop it around.
Thank you, Anick. Thank you very much. This has been our first conversation for Diaspora and Development. In honor of one of my favorite podcasts, it's called Unlocking Us. It's hosted by Brene Brown. And she ends with a little fun thing, and I'd like to do the same thing and ask you, what's the last TV show that you've binged and loved? What your favorite movie is? A concert that you'll never forget? And what's your get up and dance song? And who's your favorite hero? Who's your hero, and who do you look up to? So,
I am a TV buff, so I do watch a lot of TV. I don't have as much time these days, but when I have time, I binge. So I would say I love comedy and science fiction, fantasy stuff. So the last one I binged maybe 2 weeks ago was the Bridgerton series on Netflix.
Queen Charlotte, or just the...
Yes, and then there's the other one on Prime, on Amazon. I think it was The Power,
Okay.
where there's a little bit young girls that are given the power of electricity. It's a little bit fantasy style, but I like the what if. Any type of thing that's a what if, I just love those series. So that's what I watch. In terms of movies, my favorite movie, I think, is The Minority Report. Again, I'm a little bit of nerd on a down low. So this one was just great. I just loved
Diaspora
science fiction, the
can be
story.
nerd on the download, nerd, whoever you want to be. So
Right. So I really like that one. I also like some of the super, well, the sci-fi movies. I think I like those a lot as well. Then you said,
what's your favorite dance song?
I'm also a DJ on the down low. I'm exposing myself here. The name of my DJ is called Rhythm Junkie. I'm a rhythm junkie. Anything, I love Afrobeats, I love soca, I love reggae, I love Haitian music. But one song it's not a song, it's an artist. Anything by him. It's Machel, a soca artist, Machel Montano.
Yes.
He does. I just love it. Him or Kes the band.
Kes. I went to Carnival in Trinidad in 2020 before the pandemic, and Kes to hear Kes music in Trinidad, I almost brought tears to my eyes because it was quite amazing. And anything like Trinidad as well gets me moving.
Yes.
And then finally, who do you look up to and why?
So recently, I have been, because of the work that I'm doing now, I want to say before I was a little bit obsessed with Harriet Tubman, because of what she did, the impact of what she did. She didn't know what she was doing, but she just did it about bringing people. She risked her life to be able to do what she did. And I just thought that was impressive. But these days, because of the work that I do, the Prime Minister of Barbados,
Oh,
Maya Motley.
yes.
So everything she
Heroes, yes.
is her presence,
Mhm.
the way she responds with dignity, with intelligence, and speaking for the Black community, for the Black cause, but in such a powerful way. She did it at the UN. She did it in different interviews. And I really follow her a lot just because I find her brave, and very consistent in her message. And she's always uplifting the Black community in any way, and she's honest about it. If there's certain things that are not right, she'll say it. And if certain things, she always sets the people straight when they ask her weird questions. And the fact that she was able to take Barbados out of the Commonwealth, it's I think it's very symbolic.
Mhm.
To be able to do that. And she got on my radar when she was able to do that. So I would say that's somebody that I look up to in the way she presents herself on the international stage.
Thank you very much, Anick. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
for